candidate of People's Democratic Party, PDP, ATIKU and Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, all have their hopes dashed into pieces. The loyalists of these two candidates and parties are, at this moment, in deep pain and shock. After the announcement of the umpire, INEC chairman, Mahmood, people believed that the tribunal was going to do justice to this with the many evidences that both parties have presented to it. But when they cancelled them, they decided to go to the Supreme Court according to the Constitution. And the Supreme Court, having listened to all aggrieved members, they did what they normally would do to cross-check, and they eventually concluded. I want you to listen to Kenneth Okonkwo, former Nollywood actor that has ever been vocal in support of Peter Obi Labour Party. He has this to say about the verdict of the Supreme Court.
And we presented the issue of forfeiture as a fine imposed on the second respondent for the proceeds of narcotics and money laundering by the District Court of Illinois. I sat down through, I did not hear it, and I wonder whether that was swept under the carpet or was an oversight, because the lead judgment was detailed on all other issues, and they said all the issues there have been overtaken by event in all our own issues, and I did not hear the issue of the forfeiture. And so that's why I said I disagree respectfully, even though the decision is binding.
How about the 1% issue has also been laid to rest?
Yes, it has been laid to rest. The Supreme Court has the authority to interpret the Constitution. It is their prerogative as the arm of government imbued with the power to interpret. That is the interpretation they have given to it, and it is binding on us all. That's what I'm going to say on it.
What's your take on the reasoning on IREF? How does it going to affect our future elections?
That is very interesting, because the only paragraph the Supreme Court brought to the notice of the world, which was quite interesting, is that even the Supreme Court agreed that non-uploading of the result on IREF reduced the confidence of the people in the election. I heard it clearly. Meaning that even the Supreme Court agrees that the election was not credible, or as credible as it ought to have been if the result was uploaded. So credibility is one of the three arms of an election for the people. Free, fair, and credible. Credible means believable. Why shut out the people for the rights the law has given unto them? So I was very glad that the Supreme Court pointed it out, that not uploading of the result reduced the confidence of Nigerians in it, meaning that it cannot be presumed to be credible because Nigerians were shut out in it. So I loved that particular part. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Kept in mind that prior to the provisions of Section 285(6) of the 1999 Constitution as amended, there was no time limit for the hearing and determination of election petition by the election tribunals or the appeals arising therefrom. That situation resulted in undue delay in the hearing and determination of an election and petition by the election tribunals or appeals arising therefrom. The amendment to the original Section 285 of the 1999 Constitution, by allotting time within which to hear and determine election petition and appeals arising therefrom, is designed to ensure expeditious hearing and conclusion of election matters. If the decision of the lower court is allowed to stand, as urged by the respondents, it will reintroduce the earlier mischief which the amendment sought to correct. End of quote. See also OBI and Suswan. Citation supplied. The above statement by this court is very explicit, clear, and simple. As it is, the provision of the Constitution has spoken. There cannot be an addendum or another reopening of the case at the lower court, its jurisdiction having lapsed. What attempts did the appellants make between the publication of the second respondents form EC 9 and accompanying documents in June 2022, more than a year ago, and the date of filing the petition on 21st of March 2023 to obtain the documents from Chicago State University, which could have been used at the trial court. Again, what attempts did the appellants make to obtain these documents between the date of filing the petition and the conclusion of trial? To say the least, the above questions are critical in the quest of this court's efforts to decide whether the new evidence sought to be adduced could have been obtained by the appellants with reasonable diligence for use at the trial. And with due respect to the appellants and their counsel, I think they were a bit tardy and were not reasonably diligent in their attempts at obtaining the documents which they seek to have this appeal. In Adeleke Aserifa Asupra, this court held that where the evidence is available and could with reasonable care and diligence be made available to the applicant at the time of the trial, as in this case, the court should refuse to exercise its discretion to receive such evidence. From all I have stated above, it is crystal clear that the additional evidence by way of deposition of oath does not fit into the issues submitted for the determination of this appeal. The application, my lord, of the appellant's applicants in the circumstance is hereby refused and accordingly dismissed.
Well, there is nothing anyone can do about it anymore. The next option is for them to go to the international court, and this could drag for maybe 8 years more. And by that time, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be done with his presidency. A lot of people believe that the judiciary have been bought, but there are documents that are inadmissible, and I am very sure that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his legal advisors already knew about this. Probably they got some advice on how to delay the release of the CSU, Chicago State University deposition, and also for the university to authenticate the certificate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been parading right from when he applied to be governor of Lagos State. The duration passed, and the lawyer representing ATIKU Abubakar pressed the judges in the Supreme Court to accept the new exhibits. But, well, they said they could not, and a lot of people already knew that this could arise from technicalities. You know, when they talk about the technicalities, it's something that cannot be worked upon. I mean, you cannot present what is not presentable. And this resulted to the whole case being swept under the carpet or thrown away. They say there is no merit in what ATIKU is talking about. In fact, the previous discussion by one of the Supreme Court judge, the question that was asked is this: did Chicago State University deny the attendance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Did they say Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not attend that university? But, you know, ATIKU is not talking about the attendance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu alone. ATIKU is talking about the authenticity of the certificate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented. So, the judiciary are not working on the forgery, and it is clear what forgery is about, the definition of forgery, and how it applies to the Constitution. Did Bola Ahmed Tinubu forge his certificate intentionally? Now, there are talks about third party reproducing certificates on behalf of the school. I've never heard of this before, but that is the talk out there. But from what we heard from CSU and from any institution at all, you do not go to a third party to request for a certificate that you previously had. You go to the school, probably fill up some forms and whatever you have been requested to, and that is how it works. Then the school will reissue you after they vetted all that you have presented to them. That is what I believe. But unfortunately, I do not understand how the judiciary, came to this verdict, and I cannot put my fingers on why Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to go through this forgery. If he really attended university, who attended? Is it Bola Ahmed Tinubu that we know, the president of Nigeria, or the name Bola Tinubu? Is he male or female? Who attended that university? That is the bone of contention. Is the person female or male? According to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said, it is not my fault that the university registrar or whoever got the gender wrong. I am male, I attended the university, and you can go through the school's rag book. You will find my picture there. And there are some who said Bola Ahmed Tinubu used to be one of the presidents of one of the clubs there in school. They said, we know him, he attended the university. So did Bola Ahmed Tinubu apply for studies with someone else's document? Well, this goes back to some stories that a lot of people have been peddling around. I don't know how true it is. They say that the family that adopted Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that gave him the name Tinubu, had a daughter called Bola. When she passed away, they decided to pass down to Bola Ahmed Tinubu the credentials, the name, and everything. But unfortunately, that person is a female. And we also saw some pictures and Wikipedia of a female that bears Bola Tinubu in the United States. They say she's a medical doctor. Now, we have a lot of Bola Tinubu. Which one attended Chicago State University? That is the bone of contention. But from the look of things, there is nothing that Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar can do. They just have to forget about everything and hope that they will be able to contest this in the next couple of years. Maybe they might be able to shift or pull Bola Ahmed Tinubu off from that position, which is going to be very difficult because he is going to make sure that everything works in his favor. I don't know what your thoughts are as regards to this one. There is nothing else anyone can do once you've been declared president in Nigeria. I don't think it's easy for that individual to be plucked away. Who is going to pluck? What will the judiciary? That is how these things are. What will that person sitting on that? It's like one of the biggest opportunity, which is not supposed to be for a judge to be sitting on the tribunal. You know how much money they make. Imagine if the judges are to look into it as they should. We all know what they will end up saying if they really had to look at it and scrutinize it. But unfortunately, they did not scrutinize it as it should be. And who refuse huge amount of money paid into the account in dollars? Which of the judges will refuse 1 billion naira each just for them to pass a verdict in favor of the president? We are talking of the president. He sits on a lot of opportunities, money. What are we talking about? We are talking about a judiciary that could have been bought. Although all of the case files and everything is out there in public for everyone to peruse, everyone can see, but the educational, academic records and journey of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is so shrouded, and one will wonder, why is this so? What are your thoughts about this one? Drop your comment, like, and share. See you in the next update.